let's talk about the Ohio State quarterback room. Okay. Let's talk about it. Okay. Everyone, it's very polarizing because there are a lot of Will Howard haters out there. A lot of them, a pretty nutty amount of them, considering that USC was in the market for him, Nebraska was in the market for him, and a team like Ohio State was in the market for him. Miami was in the market for Will Howard. Clearly, there was a need for all these teams, and also he must be an upgrade, right? If Ohio State is forcing out Kyle McCord and bringing in Will Howard, it must be some sort of upgrade, right? I think he's really good. What are your thoughts on Will Howard?
I think first of all, he just brings a dimension to this offense that they were missing last year, like with the legs that he brings. And Ohio State has thrived historically on mobile quarterbacks that can add different dimensions to the running game. Yes, like recently, Brian Hartline has done an unbelievable job with Ohio State. You saw what CJ Stroud did. You saw what Justin Fields did. But it's with elite wide receiver play. But historically, like when they're at their best, they're playing really good defense and they are running the ball whenever they wanted to. You saw those best Urban Meyer teams, Carlos Hyde, Zeke Elliott, those teams could just run the ball. And I think Will Howard brings that dimension along with Chip Kelly, an improved O line from last year. You bring the addition of Quinn Jenkins. You're obviously making an effort to run the football and build it around Will Howard and Devin Brown, two of your older veteran guys on the roster, were very, very mobile and athletic. Like you said, if Will Howard's good enough for Lincoln Riley, he's good enough for me. Ryan Day, another guy I absolutely trust with his quarterback evaluation, right? And to me, what I love about this room, and I absolutely agree that they're on this year. I think they are actually the best room. And it's weird to say that because there's a huge competition here. And like, yes, you think Will Howard's going to win it, but Devin Brown's also still there, and Julian Sain's turning hands right now. So like, it's weird to say that this is the best room in college football. But to me, it's that competition that makes it so good. I mean, you've got five blue chip guys that any program I think would be 90% of 95% of programs would be really happy to have in their position group, quarterback wise. Will Howard, a guy, ton of experience. Devin Brown, a guy, ton of potential that they literally, I mean, he's there, he's still there. So they must believe in him, his development. He's been hurt for extended periods of time. I thought at one point he was going to win the job over Kyle McCord.
He was hurt in the spring
Obviously,
last year. That kind of set him back.
exactly. And he got hurt during the season when they were going to bring him as a red zone type of threat there. And I'm a big fan of Lincoln Kienholz. I know the bowl game was not friendly to him, but I got out of South Dakota.
No.
You knew it was going to take time. He was not ready for that game. Their O line gave him no chance. He had no chance in that game. To me, I think if he ends up at Ohio State, awesome. If he ends up somewhere else, he's going to be really, really good. But right now, where it stands in spring, I think as your third or fourth guy, that's incredible. And obviously, not to get to the two true freshmen, Julian Sain and Aaron Nolan, guys that are top seven, right? Quarterbacks, Aaron Nolan probably around that seven mark, and Julian Sain was your one or two, depending on who you asked. So, yeah, to me, this room, I just it doesn't surprise me that Ohio State is able to stockpile talent, but to do that in 2024 with five elite blue chip prospects and molds as you can develop,
Glad you said
pretty darn
prospects
impressive.
and molds.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's just it.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to, there's probably someone who's listening to this video that heard you say, oh, that you absolutely trust Ryan Day's quarterback evaluation. And then they immediately thought to themselves, well, what happened with Kyle McCord? If you guys remember that recruiting cycle, that was COVID.
Yep.
None of those kids played their senior season or all of it, right? Like there was that cycle in particular was a very tough evaluation, and a lot of those five-star quarterbacks, they go into their senior year and they're finding ways. But also, if you remember, Kyle McCord was with a guy named Marvin Harrison Jr. in high school. Maybe had something to do with some of his success there, but in the state of Pennsylvania. But I'm not letting that stop me from trusting Ryan Day and his quarterback evaluations. Also, too, like Kansas State's offense was really good last year. Now, was a lot of that reliant on the run game? Yes, but some of the run game was Will Howard. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
Avery Johnson. All right, we get it. Okay. But I thought on that offense, like he did really well. Will Howard did very well. And I thought he did a good job throwing the ball. I mean, if you look at the metrics, his yards per completion, yards per attempt, like wasn't super high, as high as you might want it on a team like Ohio State, where you're going to have absolutely nutty weapons. And we'll talk about the weapons in a second, but um, he did a good job captaining that offense, I thought. Probably should have won the Texas game if you were watching that game. Um, in the Missouri game, he gave his team a chance. I thought he was going to win that game. Just that Missouri team was really, really good, kind of a team of destiny last year. And I think Will Howard can win you a national championship
Yeah.
at Ohio State. Not he's not going to win you a national championship everywhere, as we've seen at Kansas State, but at Ohio State, he could win you a national championship.
Yeah. No, I love the fit. I mean, I liked it when he went to USC. I thought that was going to be super interesting. Again, it's similar. Like Riley has had a lot of success using the quarterback run as a threat there. To me, Will Howard, his legs are the best part about him, but he still has a nice arm. Like he's big. He stands in there. He's got a nice throw. And then, like you said, the weapons, right? If you are a college football fan, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this video, and you're active on Twitter at whatnot, or even YouTube, TikTok, you've seen the Jeremiah Smith stuff, right? If you're a Ohio State fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How he is just unbelievably somehow outperforming his number one overall prospect already in spring practice. He got rid of what the black stripe, I believe, is what it is for Ohio State, which is like freshmen to earn their spot on the team, and he did it before anyone's really ever done it historically. And obviously, Mecca Buka comes back. You've got the two running backs, Chip Kelly, just throw in there for shits and gigs. You've got two other 5 stars, Brennan Innes and
Carl Tate.
Carnell Tate. Thank you, just for fun to be thrown in there. So it's I know you have to replace Cade Stover, right? But and obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not going to discount that at all. He was a massive focal point of your offense, and just Common Core kind of just zeroed in on Marvin Harrison whenever he wanted to, which is smart for the most part. But to me, I think it rounds out the offense. This year it's going to be a little bit more rounded than it was last year, and part of that's because of Will Howard.
Yes.